Hi, I'm Sue Barlow and welcome to Cape House Cooking. Well, today I'm going to make a traditional Irish dinner made up of corned beef, cabbage, potatoes, and carrots, and Irish soda bread. Some people call it a boiled dinner, but we're going to do it a bit differently. I'm going to actually bake mine in the oven, just for something a little bit different. The first thing I want to do is I need buttermilk for that Irish soda bread. So I want to get my buttermilk started. I didn't have any buttermilk, so I'm just going to make some up quickly. And I'll do that by taking I actually need 1 1/4 cup divided of buttermilk. So this is 1 1/4 cup of just regular whole milk. And to that, I'm going to add a tablespoon of vinegar. Okay, and then we're going to stir that around a little bit and wait for that to, I guess, curdle or sour to create buttermilk. There we go. We'll just set that aside while we start our corned beef. I'm going to preheat my oven to 325 degrees. Corned beef comes out most tender when it's cooked low and slow. So we have about a 4-pound, just under, corned beef, flat cut. There's 2 cuts of corned beef, flat or point. Most people prefer the flat and say it tastes the best. That's the one I'm using today, and it's just under 4 pounds. So corned beef today comes in a vacuum sealed package that lasts quite a bit of time. Usually around the St. Patrick's Day, they go on sale, so keep your eye out for some sales in our local grocery stores. So this one will say it's a flat cut right on the package, and it will say corned beef brisket. And in the United States, corned beef is made from the brisket cut of beef. And you'll see a lot of corned beef in Jewish delis, and that's because the brisket part of the brisket cut is considered kosher. So that's why you see corned beef and pastrami in a lot of Jewish delis. So we're going to take this out of the package, and I'm going to rinse it very thoroughly a few times just to get a lot of that salt off. Okay, so I've rinsed this thoroughly, and I'm going to put in about 1/8 to 1/4 inch of water all around it. And then I'm going to add that seasoning packet that comes in the corned beef package. So don't throw that out. You're going to want to put that in there. And if you don't have one, which I think almost all of them come with, don't worry, this meat has been brined and seasoned. You probably won't miss it. But that seasoning package does come in the package usually, so I just put it in because that's what they want you to do with it, and it adds some flavor. So I'm just going to add the water all around the corned beef right now. All right. I'm going to add my seasoning. Got a scissors. I'm just going to add it to the water. There we go. Beyond the seasoning packet, I also like to add a couple of tablespoons of brown sugar, just to kind of sweeten it up a little bit. We're going to cover it tightly and get it in the oven. All right, we're preheated, ready to go. That was easy. All right. Now that's going to cook for 3 hours. Alexa, set a timer for 3 hours. Oh, I'm going to get out my big bowl, and we're going to work on our Irish soda bread. So like I said, the buttermilk has to be divided. So I'm going to take out a 1/4 cup of this beautiful buttermilk that's gotten foamy and frothy and kind of lumpy. I'm actually going to put it over here. I'm going to save that out. I'm going to need to add that for sort of a basting of the bread later. So let's see. I'm going to prepare my pan. I want to grease my pan. I have my pan already greased. And Irish soda bread is known as a quick bread. And quick bread means that it doesn't use yeast and take time to rise. So it's usually just the buttermilk reacting with baking soda, causes bubbles, gives it a little rise. So that's why it's considered a quick bread. So I need 4 cups of all-purpose flour to start. And I'm going to use the fluff and fill method to measure. Sometimes that flour gets all compacted down and it doesn't make measurements very accurate. So I like to stir it up a little bit and then fill it up with a spoon. Level it off with the handle of the spoon. That's 1. 2. There's all sorts of things you can put in Irish soda bread. I'm doing a very plain, simple one, but people add raisins and currants and honey, and they can add orange zest, all kinds of things. But this is just your plain and simple Irish soda bread, and it's still very popular in Ireland today. The corned beef you would not find in Ireland really for St. Patrick's Day. They use, that's an Irish-American tradition, the corned beef, and they usually have bacon or lamb on St. Patrick's Day. But they do have the Irish soda bread, and everybody seems to have their own little recipe. So here we go. All right, so now we're ready to combine our ingredients. And in here I have a teaspoon of baking soda, a tablespoon of baking powder, and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So I've combined these, and then we're just going to sprinkle that in there. 4 tablespoons of sugar, white sugar, just regular sugar. Maybe give them a little whisk to mix it around thoroughly. It doesn't help if it's not mixed all around. So give that a little stir. All right, that's whisked around. And then I have my 1/2 cup, which is 1 stick of margarine. You know, I don't usually use margarine, but it works in this recipe. So that's what we're going to use. I cut it up into pieces just to make it soften, because it should be softened margarine. So we're going to throw that in there. Kind of spread them out around the flour a little bit. And then I have my 1 cup of buttermilk. I'm gonna add that in. All right, and then I have my egg. I had this egg sitting in a little bit of water, warm water, just to take the chill off of it. It's a fast way to warm up an egg. You kind of, you know, you want your eggs to be room temperature, really. So I don't really, I'll just give that a little. I'm not really trying to whip any air into it or anything. I'm just kind of breaking it up a little bit. And we'll put that in there. Get my spoon. Okay, well, let's see. Let's go this way with this stuff. All right, and then we just combine these into a dough. And get it to come together. I'm just trying to mix the wet and the dry together and hopefully get a ball going here. And usually the best way to deal with dough is with your hands. Flour I have to knead it a little bit. Get it all to come together. Just trying to grab all the loose pieces before I turn it out. And get those absorbed in, and then we can give it a quick little kneading. You don't want to over knead. Kneading can cause gluten to develop in the flour. That's how we get those really beautiful, chewy pizza crusts. Well, we're not looking for that texture here. We're looking for a nice, soft bread texture. So we don't want to over knead it. But I do want to mix all that softened margarine and make sure that gets all moved throughout in a even way. Oh, this feels so good. I do love kneading dough. I think I need to make a dish that has extra kneading involved. Gets out all your frustration and anxiety. And take it out on your dough. So you can see chunks of that butter still visible. Margarine, I guess we should say. It wasn't butter. Oh, it's becoming a nice wet loaf. Okay, I don't want to overdo it. And then we're going to put it on our prepared baking sheet. All right. There it is. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, I love cooking and baking. It feels so good. Let me wash my hands off. So in Northern Ireland, I guess they shape them into triangles, but the Irish tradition in the South is to shape them into a round loaf. And then we brush them with that reserved quarter cup of buttermilk combined with the quarter cup of melted butter. And we're going to brush this over the top. And we can continue basting as it's cooking. We'll continue basting our loaf with this mixture. Get that done. Beautiful. All right. And then we're going to cut an X across it with a sharp knife. And let's see, make sure it shows up. And they say that it's a superstition that this wards off bad luck by letting the fairies out. So there you have it. Goodbye, fairies. And we're going to put this in the oven for about 50 minutes. Oh, my glasses steamed up. Alexa, can you set a timer for 50 minutes? Well, that corned beef has been cooking in the oven for about an hour and a half, so I'm going to get my vegetables going and get those in. I've got about a pound of carrots here. I'm going to cut up into chunks, and also I've cut up about a pound or so of these little gold potatoes and just sort of cut them in half. If some were a little bigger, maybe I cut them in quarters, just trying to get them all the same size. So let me get these carrots cut up, and then I'm going to do my cabbage, and those will be my vegetables. All right, so I've put a towel under the cutting board just to keep it from slipping around and being so noisy too. Sometimes, you know, that plastic on granite just makes a loud noise and it slips around, but putting the towel underneath solves that. And let's see, just pop them all in this bowl together. Okay, and then I tried to find a really small cabbage. Sometimes they're just so big, and, you know, there's only so much cabbage one can eat. So we're just going to take off a few of these dirty kind of outer layers. Don't really need. And there we go. Get rid of the stem there. And then basically you just want it cut in chunks. So it kind of has a core there. We can go around that. It's like a nice chunk there. Nice chunks there. That one. So I want to melt 4 tablespoons of butter. Get that melted. I melted butter, 4 tablespoons, and then I need 2 tablespoons of prepared horseradish. So there's lots of different brands. I think I found this. I don't usually use horseradish. I was like, what aisle would that be? I think it was in with like the pickles and olives and oils, ketchups and those types of things. So 2 tablespoons of the prepared horseradish, and I spice this up, and then a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper and 1½ teaspoons of salt. Okay, I'm gonna mix these together. Oops, I spilled some. And then I'm just gonna put that over my vegetables. All right, and then I'm just gonna toss this around so they all get coated. Yum. Oh, it smells good. Ooh, get back in there. I'm trying to keep my cabbage together though. I don't want that falling apart too much. All right, I'm gonna just put it in here. I'll just kind of arrange the cabbage down one end. So, I mean, some people wonder, like, why is some corned beef red and some gray? Well, it's actually the salt that they use to cure corned beef. If they use the pink nitrates, sodium nitrate, it's pink salt. That's what makes it pink. And the gray one doesn't use any nitrates. So one could probably argue that the gray one is maybe a little bit better for you. because, you know, some say nitrates are carcinogenic, cause cancer. So if you wanted to avoid that, you could use the gray one. I think it's going to taste a little bit beefier than the regular corned beef, but that's why we have gray corned beef and red corned beef or pink corned beef, however you want to think of it. So really only the people in New England eat the gray corned beef. That's kind of a New England thing. You won't find that in other parts of the country. They all eat the red. And there we go. So there they are, ready to go in. I tried to keep them in a single layer. I was pretty successful. But we'll maybe toss them around a little bit during the cooking time. These are going to cook for an hour and a half. See, I have been basting my soda bread, which is looking pretty nice. It looks very rustic and it's got that bumpy texture. So I've basted it twice already. I'll give it one more. But it's smelling pretty close to done. So I'll just do that and let it soak in. Keep it moist and flavorful, nice and buttery, and get that little tang from the buttermilk. There we go. Put you back in there. I'm gonna spin it around, see if we can get it to cook evenly. So the last thing I want to put together is a horseradish cream sauce that we're going to use for the corned beef and for the vegetables. It's just a beautiful sour cream based sauce that just adds that extra something special to this dish. So this soda bread is supposedly done. You can test it. When the toothpick comes out clean, you're good to go. So we'll let that cool a little bit. And we'll put together our horseradish cream sauce. So this calls for 1 cup, 8 ounces of sour cream. Let's see. We did with our spoons. And I need 2 tablespoons of that prepared horseradish again. Oh, this sounds familiar. Okay. And I'm going to put in a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. Ooh, don't be noisy. That is an unattractive sound. Okay. And then I have a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of sugar, and a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. That in there, and then I need 1 teaspoon of vinegar. Using apple cider, you could use white wine, white vinegar. I don't think it really matters. It's not a whole amount, big amount. And it's combined with some really strong flavors, so. And this is just gonna be this beautiful cream sauce. Give it a little taste. Boy. That's yummy. So, this has been cooling for about 5 minutes. Let's see if we can get it onto our cutting board. There we go. Wow. That is delicious. Did you know there's even a society to preserve Irish soda bread? They encourage you to try different recipes and discover your Irish roots. So let's have a look. Oh my gosh, this just looks so beautiful. You know, oh, just gorgeous, really. They say to slather it with butter. Some people also put some preserves on it. Let's see what we have. Cupcake says, oh, I would like some Irish soda bread. All right, I'm gonna give it a try. I have my butter. This is just regular butter. You know, you can buy some nice Irish butters too. Make it really official, but I didn't think that far ahead, so regular butter it is. Boy, has butter become expensive too. But this is a good reason to slather right here. And then I like a little strawberry preserve on there too. Just a little bit. A little extra yumminess. All right, here goes. Oh, wow. You're gonna love this. It's so delicious. It's got a beautiful, rich, soft texture. Absolutely perfect. I would highly recommend you give this a try. So few ingredients. I don't think I had to pick up one thing from the store. I mean, it was just everything I had already in my pantry. No waiting for it to rise. It's an Irish tradition. This will take you back to your Irish roots. And like they say, everybody's Irish on St. Patrick's Day because it's fun and delicious and different. And it's just one of those holidays brought over from Ireland and made it our own here in New England with our gray and pink corned beef and our Irish soda bread, and just wonderful. So I really hope you give it a try. Well, the good news is that holds me over while I'm waiting the extra hour and 20 minutes, hour and 10 minutes, whatever's left on our timers until our corned beef and our vegetables are done, which should end up being done about the same time. All right, well, it's been another hour and a half and those vegetables have been cooking, and it was the second half of the cooking time for the corned beef. So let's see how we did. Well, it smells good, that's for sure. Oh, beautiful. All right, so we cooked this corned beef with the fat side up, covered tightly with a 1/4 inch to 1/8 of an inch of water around it with a couple tablespoons of brown sugar and that seasoning packet. And now it's been 3 hours later and it's done. We're gonna let it rest for a few minutes and then we'll try slicing it and tasting it. So, and here come those vegetables. They look good. They smell wonderful. Take a look at those. How nice is that? And there those are. All right. So I think we'll get the vegetables out and arrange those nicely on a platter and give them a taste. See if we can arrange some of these. Oh, they got this beautiful crispy brown edges that I think is just gonna look great and taste good. Oh, they're just so pretty. So we've let that rest for a little while, and then we'll see about cutting this. You can take off the fat on the top right now, or you can just leave some out. It has a lot of flavor in it. Oh boy, look at that. Oh, so good. So here's a little trivia you might not know. On March 4th, 1861, Abraham Lincoln, for his inaugural luncheon, had a corned beef, potato, and cabbage dinner. So that was just a couple weeks before St. Patrick's Day. I wonder if that's why he did it, but that's what he had. Little plate. We'll just see how this tastes. A couple of carrots, and a potato. Looks wonderful. And a beautiful piece of meat. Shall we give it a try? Wow. That horseradish mixture on these carrots makes these carrots heaven. I put this beautiful plate together, and it looks wonderful, but I almost forgot we made that beautiful horseradish cream to go on this whole dish. So push over, Irish soda bread. Let's try this. So, we have this beautiful horseradish dip, and I'm wondering how much more fabulous this will make everything taste. Oh, wow. I honestly never knew how fantastic horseradish was until recently. We marinated those vegetables in a horseradish, so it almost doesn't need it, but it really does add a little bit even more deliciousness. This is a wonderful, wonderful way to make your St. Patrick's dinner. Go ahead and boil it if that's what you like to do. But here's another way to do it. It comes out fantastic and not a lot of effort. Does take 3 hours, but most of it's just cooking. I got to do all my dishes, take the dog around the block while I was waiting for it to finish up, and I have a whole complete meal here. So thanks so much for watching this episode of Cape House Cooking, and I'll see you next time. Happy St. Patrick's Day.